I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Let's get started. Man. All right, welcome to the free astrotheology class. Our textbook is The Gospel and the Zodiac, The Secret Truth About JC, the Christ Figure. The book is written by the Reverend Bull Darrell-El. I put a link to the free PDF in the description area of the video, but if you want to support the author, I believe his book is available on Amazon. I believe it's available on Amazon. If you want to buy it, I'm sure the author would appreciate your support. Like I said last time, there's nothing that makes you feel better than when someone buys one of your books, okay? Because it takes so much time and effort to write a book and all of the drama that you have to go through with the distribution and marketing, especially when you deal with online retailers. A lot of drama, at least from my experience, all right? What I mean is that there's a lot of things that would make you say, I'm not going to do this no more, it's not worth it. Okay, so we are on page 218. Page 218. Y'all make sure y'all like and share the video. As you see, YouTube doesn't even send out notifications. I mean, it's just terrible how this company functions. But right now, wherever you are in your, let's say, walk, wherever you are, you may feel alone. You may feel like you're the only one who sees things the way you see them or at your level of consciousness. You may feel like you're the only one. There's nobody physically near you, but you can find online communities like this one. Let me say to you that if you begin to share these video presentations to people you know, people physically, people who you see daily, weekly, monthly, whatever, you see them physically, start sharing these with them, okay? Eventually, you never know. They may come around just like you did, but even faster. And then you have somebody next to you that you can physically go visit with and meet with, all right? But that's not gonna happen if you don't share these presentations or even talk about or even like the video, because YouTube is not going to put it in the lineup. Y'all see that? Someone told me the other day that they try to search for my videos, Zion Law School on YouTube. They told me that they had to type the whole Zion Law School out. But that still doesn't replace the responsibility that I have to continue making the videos and the responsibilities that you have to share them. Talk about what you're learning with other people. If you want someone to talk to near you, you have to take the initiative. The least you can do just by showing up, if you've been here more than 5 minutes, is like the video. I mean, that's the least you can do, right? I mean, in fact, that's what you should do. Secondly, subscribe. If you've been here more than 2 times and you've stayed longer than 5 minutes, whether you like it or not, you should subscribe. right? You, you have to put something back. But anyway, I'm not here to preach. It just came to my mind. But y'all do your part to make your life easier. If you want someone to talk to about what you think, what you're learning, what your positions are, how your life or your consciousness is changing, where it's going, bounce information and questions and answers off of. Start sharing these presentations with people who you see and talk to every day. All right, now let's get started. Page 218. The equinoctial cycle, Aries to Pisces, all right? Aries to Pisces. So Pisces is the end of the zodiac cycle. Aries is the beginning. In other words, Aries is the beginning of the modern zodiacal year, which is spring, sometime around March 19, 2021. Okay? That's the beginning of the natural year in modern astrology. However, our ancient ancestors, their natural year began with Virgo. All right, it began with Virgo. So right now, Virgo represents the autumn, fall, which is the covenant of grace. So let me put it out there that the covenant of grace, if you recall, scholars, that's when the harvest comes. Everything is provided for you, right? All the work has been done. All the labor has been done. All the blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifice has been done. And now you get Mother Earth's blessings, as it were. Mother Earth yields her fruitage. And you can take that fruitage, you can make wine, you can make anything you want. All right, and you have enough to live off of during the winter months. Okay? That's the beginning of the year. So my position is, and I know some people who may disagree, they'll say, well, the zodiac sign will change the covenant, the zodiac sign of the covenant of grace will change with every zodiacal age. My position is, yes, I understand that. However, the new year begins in the fall with the harvest. Why? Because that's the covenant of grace. You start the year off, everything is right there for you, boom. Everything you need, everything you could possibly want is right there for you. All right? If you want to look at this in terms of Genesis, the Most High put the man in the Garden of Eden. All right? He put him there. Everything provided. And then his seed, his heirs, were actually born. Well, they should have been born. That was the goal, right? They should have been born. The intent was for them to be born in the Garden of Eden if everything would have went right. But anyway, y'all think about that. But that's where my thinking is right now. Where is your thinking? My thinking is that we need to go back as a people and correct the zodiac signs, not only the stories associated with each zodiac sign, but also we need to deal with when is our natural year, okay, to begin with. We need to address that. I think it's the covenant of grace. It's the harvest, all right? It is the harvest time. We need to go back and correct the motifs, all right? The symbols and the illustrations and the stories. Correct them. All right, so let's get into it. The equinoctial cycle, Aries to Pisces. Piscean themes are not restricted to the final chapters of this gospel. Y'all hear that? In other words, you see Pisces in other places than the last chapters of the book of Mark. The whole gospel, with some justification, be called a Piscean document. The whole gospel can, with some justification, be called a Piscean document. Y'all hear that? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. There's evidence that each of the four gospels are Piscean with some justification. What's the justification? That's the evidence. So we need to see what that evidence is. But the point is, Pisces, y'all remember what Pisces is? Duplicity. Amongst other extremely negative traits. Duplicity is intentional deceit, right? You're deceiving someone. Two sides. Shady people, right? Conflict. Lying, deceiving. Now y'all correlate that with Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. Correlate it with Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. I prefer, in my opinion, the Amplified Bible gives the best. When I say best, that means the most easy to understand rendering of Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. All right, which is basically telling you that the scribes wrote lies into the law. All right, y'all heard? Make your correlations. All right. Early on, we read of the apostles becoming fishers of men. Fishers of men. Pisces, right? Y'all can check that at Mark 1, verse 17. The multitudes are fed on bread. That's Virgo, bread. Anytime you hear bread, corn, wheat, etc., that's Virgo. Right? And who is Mary? Myrrh. There's another reference to the sea. Marina. Maritime. Okay, and you can take that further by going into the Raphaim, Oannes, Dogon, right? Half fish, half man. All right. Etc. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch all the presentations that I've done. And you'll find it someplace. You need to search for it. All right. The multitudes, JC fed the multitudes on fish. Was it 2 pieces of fish and 5 loaves? I wonder what will happen if you count 5 zodiac signs backward or forward. Let me see. Give me 1 second, y'all. So if you count 5 forward, that takes you to Aquarius. I need to have a wheel. If you count 5 back, let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That takes you to Aquarius, to Aries. That takes you to Aries. So do y'all see what I'm doing? I'm just checking to see what meaning I can get if I count 5 forward from Virgo. 5 zodiac signs forward from Virgo. What was it? I forgot what it was. Virgo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That takes you to Aquarius. Okay, so y'all remember what Aquarius is. That's destruction, right? That's also what? The sea. Aquarius is the sea. Remember the pouring of the water? Now I'm giving y'all my opinion. The pouring, the amorphodite, according to modern astrology, Aquarius is sexually ambiguous. Not male, not female. All right? This is modern astrology. Pouring water onto the earth. So you have two things you can work with here. One is Aquarius, pouring water onto the earth. The other is, how do you distinguish that from Pisces? Two fish in the water. Or is this telling us that the Pisces, the two fish in the water, and Aquarius, we see a relationship, both involve water, right? So scholars, you can think your way through that. Another thing you can look for is whether or not two zodiac signs are on the same line or on the opposite end of the line. Okay? And that will also give you information. All you need to do is read the characteristics of that zodiac sign and put two and two together. It's really that simple. If you count backwards, it takes you to Aries. All right? If you count backwards, it takes you to Aries. We all know what Aries is. That's Aries the ram. Okay? And you can put two and two together and work that out on your own. All right? I may come back and do a video on it. I don't know. But I would like to get past, I would like to finish up Pisces, so I'm not going to spend time on it right now. I may come back and do a different video on it. But anyway, I just want to give you an idea of how you can work with this type of information, okay? All right. But the five may not have anything to do with counting forward with another zodiac. It may have something else, or it may be a combination of two things. You just have to work through it, be creative, and see what you come up with, okay? See what you discover. And let your intuitive mind guide you, all right? The multitudes are fed on bread and fish. Now, I'm very surprised that he didn't say the number of loaves or the number of fish, right? And the Piscean virtue of self-sacrifice. Now, remember, they threw that in there, y'all. They threw that in there, the Piscean virtue of self-sacrifice. How did they throw it in there? Well, they started talking about Joseph is probably a Pisces. Joseph, in the story about Egypt, the 7 years of famine and the 7 years of plenty, that Joseph. All right, so they threw that in the story. Okay? To soften up Pisces. In other words, as a diversion, to get you to think more about Joseph and the good, to cover over the extreme toxicity of Pisces, who, y'all will remember that the ancient Egyptians, who many people say are our ancestors, okay? And why do they say that? Because the ancient Egyptian empire was headquartered in the Americas, and the one over in Africa, is it East Africa? Yeah, that's a satellite, and it came much, much later. In other words, that's young compared to the ancient empire, which is in the Americas. All right, so that's where that's coming from. So remember, the ancient Egyptians said that Pisces is extremely toxic, and they didn't want anything to do with fish because of that. The Egyptians, this is page 206, the Egyptians, the instructors of the Hebrews in astrology, are said to have abstained from eating sea fish out of dread and abhorrence. And when they would express anything odious, you can think of that as bad, disgusting, negative, right? Represented a fish in their hieroglyphics. All right, so if it was bad, they represented it as a fish. Just like on TV, if the media wants to represent or put something as being negative and bad in people's mind, what do? They associate a person who looks like me with whatever that is, and then blast it on the news repeatedly. Think of it that way. All right? If you read the footnote, you see most authorities give what authorities? These are hybrid troglodytes, right? Hybrid troglodytes. Colonists, invaders. But that's not to say that all of the hybrid troglodytes and invaders were pale-faced. That's not the case, right? Most authorities give Joseph as a Piscean son of Jacob. Well, there you have it. All right, they put that in there. So, y'all can read about that more if you want on your own. All right. So the multitudes are fed on bread and fish. You can check that at Mark chapter 6, verse 38, and chapter 8, verse 7. And the Piscean virtue of self-sacrifice is constantly extolled. Y'all hear that? Well, I like to see the reference. And the Piscean virtue of self-sacrifice is constantly extolled. I don't see any reference. So what is he talking about? And why didn't he put a citation? Why didn't he cite it? Other quote-unquote fishy stories can be found elsewhere in the Gospels. Matthew has the curious story of the coin in the fish's mouth. Okay, so he has the curious story of the coin in the fish's mouth. How about this as an explanation of the coin in the fish's mouth? Christianity is a fish, and they will eat up all your coins. They're telling you. What's the purpose of eating? That's your food, right? That's how you sustain yourself. So how does Christianity sustain itself? By taking coins, by taking money. Nowadays, fiat. Y'all see it? Circes. Clear reference to Circes. You walk into Circes' house, Circe will take your mind. Christianity takes your mind. And what do you, now you find yourself giving a tithe, always giving money for all of their donations, for all of their projects, right? Trying to buy your way into purgatory, out of purgatory, into the kingdom, into heaven. But that's small level stuff. That's small level stuff. The big one is birthright theft, land theft, which y'all know everything, all products that you see, y'all know all of these come from land. All of the ingredients come from land. Y'all realize that? So they stole your land, stole your labor, stealing your land, stealing your labor to this day, turning around and making you pay for it. Making you work for whatever the product is and pay for it. There is your fish and a coin in its mouth. If y'all disagree, put it in the comment section. I'm more than willing to learn. If you agree, put it in the comment section right why. So if y'all put information, whatever you're thinking in the comment section, See, that's going to help someone. That will help someone. And it may help someone near you. All right? If you want someone to be able to talk to. All right? If they like if they like your comment, or if you arouse their curiosity, or if you ask a question, you might make a new friend. You might help someone, whatever it is. So y'all should really use the comment section. And I don't pretend to know everything. I'm giving my analysis, that's it. That's really it. Okay, other fishy stories. Oh. They retracted the, in Vietnam, they have these retractable canopies over the buildings. And I heard a noise, but it's muffled through the glass wall. And a shadow was coming. And I said, oh my God, I was thinking maybe there's a storm about to happen from the sound and the way it went dark. But but anyway, everything is okay. All right, so fish, toxicity, money hungry, greedy, birthright theft, doctrine of discovery, unum sanctum. All right, there's others. There are other papal bulls where we see the manifestation of this Piscean energy. Capricorn, Aquarius, and Piscean. All of this is happening. All of this is involved with that, right? Why? Because we're talking about a zodiacal age and transitioning from one into the other. So transitioning into Aries and then transitioning into Aries and then out of Aries. Okay, that's why there are three. Okay, let's continue. Other fishy stories are found elsewhere in the Gospels. Matthew has a curious story of the coin, and here coin is capitalized, capital C, in the fish's mouth. And he has fish, fishes and mouth capitalized. All right. Matthew chapter 17. Y'all go check out why those are capitalized, what it means. Matthew chapter 17, verse 24 through 27. All right. Showing what? Showing birthright theft. Okay. Christianity is involved in birthright theft, stealing land, stealing labor, stealing energy, okay? Wanting nothing, desiring nothing, sustaining itself off of what? What do our ancestors say about the pale faces? They have a what? They have a thing for gold, right? Remember they came over to the Americas. They're just killing people, like piranha in a river. Chopping fingers off, chopping arms off, just to get gold. A fix, what do you call it when a drug addict, when all they want is the drug. What do you call that? I can't remember. But that's what I'm talking about. They have a thing for gold. Okay? Coin in the fish's mouth. I'm going to let it go. I think I made that point clear. But y'all tell me what you think about that. And by the way, if you feel it in your heart, make sure you support my project to write the book of the law in ancient Ibaryath and easy to understand modern English, only if you feel it in your heart. Meaning that you understand, you see that it's a doggone shame that we don't have our own book of the law, that we're still using our oppressors' documents. How are you going to have a movement, y'all? How are you going to return? I mean, think about that. Think about that. You see these organizations, I won't name them, other than right now everybody's talking about Hebrew Israelites. You see these groups, and not nan one of them has produced a book of the law, or to my knowledge, any writings other than what? I think a few people may have bought a license to some of those Bible templates where you can change a few words, right? Do some edits. And then put your name on it. Well, what good is that? So the book of the law that I'm going to write will be from scratch. From scratch. I'm not buying a template and changing a few words. No. I'm going to write it pictograph by pictograph, word by word. All right? From scratch, the same way your grandmother, your great-grandmother used to bake a cake or a pie from scratch. Y'all know that when it's baked from scratch, it tastes better than any box cake or pie. And y'all know that. So this is going to be from scratch. All right, y'all? And it's a big job. I don't have a team. I'm not paying anybody a salary, but I'm not going to suffer. I'm not going to eat soy sauce and rice to produce the document. And then once it's produced, suffer more to market and distribute it. I'm not going to do that. I'm too far along in my life. I don't want to suffer like that anymore. Okay, so I need mass support of our people to do the project. Then I can start hiring people to do certain tasks and projects and put together a very professional, accurate document that's easy to understand, that explains everything in a way that most people can understand, all right? Putting back in cosmology, astrology, the zodiac, all the natural law, putting back in due process, putting back in escheat, putting back in, actually, you know what? I think there's a lot of value in being able to see natural law in the Constitution. So showing those correlations too. But there's a lot of stuff. Look in the description area of the video. You'll see natural law. Also put back in the Hermetic principles. I listed them in the description area of this video. The things that I will remove, which is the deceptions and outright lies, Jeremiah 8:8, and to restore all the natural law, concepts and principles, all right? Trust, law, jurisdiction, all of these kinds of concepts and principles, I'm going to restore. And anything else that's been hidden in the Ibaryath, I'm going to show it in the Ibaryath and in the modern English, okay? So y'all support that. Let's stand up and be men and women and have our own. Because we don't need anybody else. All we need is each other. If you want to have dignity and self-respect and independence. Y'all hear me? Man, I didn't make it through. I didn't make it into where I wanted to go. I got to bounce soon. All right. So let's continue. All right. And John tells of the miraculous catch of fish. John 21, 1 through 14. All right. So let me tell y'all have been caught in the net. Y'all have been caught in the net. The net used to be physical and psychological. Now it's only psychological in the main. All right. Now it is psychological. It is maritime law being brought on the land. It is birthright theft. It is you not knowing who you are. It is you being out of harmony with natural law, therefore breaking the Most High's commandments. Therefore, the natural law of cause and effect is hitting you over your head, punishing you day in and day out. Pisces is an example of polarity, right? Polarity, the law of, or the principle, the law of polarity, Pisces, right? Also Gemini, Pisces. You'll see the law of polarity demonstrated in Gemini and Pisces. Go check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about. Such stories point to the imminent new age, the age of Pisces, which was potentially a time of collective spiritual transformation. Yeah, for the worse. Spiritual, not natural law, spiritual introduction of religion. All right, that's what he's really saying. A time where religion would take over. All right? And natural law would be, they would seek to do away with natural law in terms of how men and women interact with each other, how we do commerce, how we leave things to our heirs, and how we study and function on the day-to-day. That would be what? Catholicism and its armies and minions would seek to kill off the Moors, the scientists in the Americas, in Europe, and in Africa. All right? This is what our ancestors were. We are and we were scientists, not religionists. But Catholicism seeks to replace that with religion, specifically Christianity and Islam, the religion, all right? As the equinoctial point, and how do we see that? We see that with them raging wars, right? Raging wars globally, killing off all of our scientists, all of our experts, and pushing religion, all right? Pushing religion, including the religion of evolution. As the equinoctial point, moving backward through the zodiac, see the forgotten language of the stars, passed over from Aries to Pisces, the spiritual symbols, motifs of the people would be changed. Y'all see that? Symbols. Now there's power in symbols. Symbols can be used to harness and direct power, cosmic energy, cosmic power. So that's why I have said we need to put this back into the book of the law, but we need to correct it. We need to correct the zodiac. We need to correct it because the religionists have changed it. And they have selected symbols, motifs, stories that empower their worldview, which empowers their position. as the authorities on the planet, right? In other words, hybrid and fake, death and destruction. So we need to go back and correct it and empower our own symbols. We need to make it reflect, or we need to make it what it was when our ancient ancestors were in power. The same way, where do I get it? Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Noble Drew Ali, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said it, follow the principles of your ancient foremothers and forefathers, right? That's the reflection of Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your ancient foremothers and forefathers, period. Right? What is law? Law is instruction. Law is instruction, passed from generation to generation. All right? Period. Very simple, right, scholars? Very, very simple. We just need to do what our ancient ancestors did. Take it back to the zodiac that they had, to the planets that they acknowledged. All right, y'all? But we get into this further later. I'm going to have to come back to this. 2,000 years earlier, the ram or lamb of Aries had entered human consciousness as a symbol of the age of Aries. But it goes beyond that. Okay? Goes beyond that. First of all, we need to check and confirm whether this was a ram / lamb. If so, why? If not, why not? What was it? And then all of the other symbols that are associated or that came off of that. So it just doesn't stop at the zodiac motif or symbol ram, lamb. Aries had entered human consciousness as a symbol of the age of Aries. So we need to do the same thing. Is Aries, as modern astrologists say, an androgynous individual? You can't tell if it's a man or a woman. Or is Aries a woman? Or something else? Y'all know that in the, I think it's Hindi, in the ancient Hindi mythology system, there was a deity named Rain, father comes from. Rain pours down water, which is semen, which falls on Mother Earth. Right, if you look at it that way, and then Mother Earth, or the womb, absorbs the water, and now vegetation grows, and animal life can live, insects can live. So what if, well, y'all see what I'm saying. But anyway, I want to get through this. This great shift in spiritual awareness had been celebrated by the Jews. Shift in spiritual awareness, that's religion. Anytime you see religion, scratch it out. This great shift in spiritual awareness has been celebrated by the Jews. Jews is a religion, not a bloodline. In the Passover, that's a religious ceremony. Jeremiah 8, chapter 8, that's been remixed. It's a remix of the natural phenomena of the sun, S-U-N, disk orb in the sky, passing over the celestial equator. It's a remix of that natural phenomena in which the lamb was ritually consumed. So there's a lot going on in here, y'all. A lot going on in here that we need to be aware of, and we need to correct it. We need to take it back. In other words, we need to get rid of the remix, okay, y'all? We need to get rid of the remix and take it back to nature, all right? In other words, we need to restore it. It needs to be restored. And in restoring it, we empower our symbols that our ancient foremothers and forefathers used, okay? And in empowering our symbols, we take away what? We take away power from them. Y'all see it? Give me 1 second. But this has to happen. This has to happen not at the level of one man or woman, i.e. Dr. Yasapa, not one man, one person. It has to happen at a mass scale. Why? We're talking about cosmic energy. It doesn't have to be 100%. It might be the principle, what? You know, the 99 monkey principle. But how many people does it take? How many people will it take to get to the 99 monkeys? Y'all heard? You hear? How many people does it take to get to to activate the 99 monkey principle? I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that you are just as responsible as I am in making this thing happen. All right? It's not my obligation or responsibility alone. It's everybody's. And I can't do it by myself. Neither do I want to, if I could. All right? So you are not without obligation. This doesn't fall on me or on a few people who you might look to. Y'all need to support those who are doing this work. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about anybody who's doing this type of work. You need to support them. All right? But in 17, okay, thank you. But in relation to what I'm talking about right now,
I'm not for unless.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But in relation to what I'm talking about right now, which is getting the book of the law out and correcting zodiac, that's going to take mass involvement, mass support. All right. So I think I made my point. I'm not going to belabor it. So if y'all want to get back into Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, support the project and start living your life in harmony with natural law. And you know, there's a test you can actually do. You know, people who have a healthy mentality, self-respect, they will do things to support and empower themselves, their group, and their nation. All right? Now, I've seen this. I've seen it with my own eyes, traveling to different countries. And those groups who have been the target of birthright theft, they tend to not have any respect for themselves or other people. Okay? And that's a direct result of the curses. All right? And the psychological, what's happening? And the psychological implications of that. Anyway, I gotta bounce, y'all. Islam to all the Moors.